Now, one technique I've used with great success over the last couple weeks has been the Spook and Fluke technique. Now, this technique works great in low light conditions such as dusk and sunrise, as well as all day during cloudy days and before and after storm occurrences. Now, one big reason why I like this technique so much is it catches numbers of fish as well as larger fish. As a matter of fact, this technique has landed me my personal best largemouth at 6 pounds 5 ounces and my personal biggest pike at 38 inches and over 8 pounds. Now, one reason this technique has been so successful is there has been a large minnow hatch recently, and this pattern imitates smaller fish feeding on minnows at or near the surface of the water. Now, spooks can be thrown in a variety of places. They usually are really good at calling fish from up deep up to the surface, which is usually why I use them in open water. But recently I've been catching a lot more fish working these baits over weed beds. So usually the weed beds will be in 5 to 6 feet of water, and the weeds will come up 2 to 3 feet, leaving a small area that the bait can be worked over the surface without catching in the weeds. Now, two of the main spooks that I use is a KVD Sexy Dog, and the reason why I like this spook so much is the weight transfer system, which allows you to fling it larger distances, as well as it sits in the water with the nose up top and the bait and the back of the bait slightly submerged, so that walking the bait is that much easier. Now, the second spook I'll use with regularity is an Excalibur Super Spook Junior. I've caught a lot of fish on this in the past, and it's a very similar size and shape to the KVD Sexy Dog. Now, some days the fish just smash the topwater baits, in which case I will not deviate from throwing a spook, but other days I'll get short strikes or the fish will be hesitant to take on top of the water, in which case I'll augment my presentation with the Fluke. Now, I will rig the Fluke weightless with a 1/0 off-shank Gamakatsu worm hook, and that way the bait will stay just underneath the surface and have the same erratic zigzagging action to present the fish with something a little bit more safe and imitate the same bait fish, so that they won't have to breach the surface. On days that are completely cloudy, the Spook and Fluke technique will work all day long, but it also works well on sunny days at sunrise and sunset. Now, if I'm fishing all day on the water, I'm definitely not going to be using topwater baits or flukes all day long. I'll use them for the low light conditions, but during the heat of the day or when the sun's out the most, I'll switch over to using a Texas rigged Senko worm. Usually these larger Senkos I'll rig on a 2/0 Gamakatsu hook with a bullet weight, a bigger bullet weight to punch through larger mats, but a smaller one to either work around weed beds or pads or in open water.